best of the business, covering Tennessee athletics. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joining Ramon Foster and myself, Will Bowling. Brent, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're good. Brent, I've got to tell on Ramon to start the show this morning, to start our conversation this morning.
This is the best part of my Friday right now. What has Ramon Foster done now?
I was happy to not get a text from you already yesterday because I was curious if you had heard just the shot across the bow at you from Ramon Foster yesterday. So we're doing this feature, Brent, this offseason called the Foster 5. We're having Ramon rank his top fives of just different things. And yesterday we had him rank the top 5 atmospheres that he played in college or the pros. So at the end of the conversation, I said, man, I can't wait to get Brent's take on this because I'm sure he's seen some amazing atmospheres covering Tennessee. And Ramon goes, well, yeah, you probably covered Tennessee in the Coliseum in Greece. And I said, first of all, that is downright disrespectful to our good friend Brent Hubbs. Secondly, the Coliseum is not in Greece, it's in Rome. Ramon, I just had to start our morning. We say on the show, Brent, it's Friday and we're acting like it. This is the way we're going to act like it this morning. And I just needed to tell on Ramon to start the day.
So let me say, Ramon called me really old and then had to locate at his GPS wrong.
Correct.
It was off.
Correct.
I mean, you couldn't even get MapQuest to work for you, okay? Couldn't read the globe, couldn't read an atlas, couldn't do anything. Yeah. And in doing so, you tried to take a shot at me. Just because I covered your little recruitment coming out of high school, you could take a little shot at me because I'm suddenly old, right?
Yeah, that was on me, Hubbs. It was wide open.
Duly noted, my friend. Duly noted.
That's exactly what I wanted.
It is.
All right, we can start now. Anyway.
I thought somebody had ran to you and told. I did for a minute, but nobody reported back, Hubbs.
Until now.
No, well, I've been on a little family staycation. Okay. So we got out. I had to get out and drive a little bit this morning to find some cell service because I didn't want to clip out on you guys and then hear it from you, Ramon. So I've driven down the road here. And only to find out that you've been taking random shots at me when I'm not around.
Well, I tried to make it up to you, just so you know. My playlist is growing more and more. By the way, I am now, and I'm not trying to change the subject on you because I know I have to deal with this fall. I'm just letting you know before we move into, like, official stuff. Hank Williams Jr. is the man, okay? Hank is the man. Family tradition I can't get enough of. What is it? Hell Bent. What is it? Whiskey Bent and some. What's the other name of the song?
You got it.
You got it. You go. Keep going.
Yeah. Whiskey Bent and Hell something is what it was.
Here's my Hellbound, which is
Hellbound.
You're going to be on Friday nights when the play-by-play guy finds out. If you think I'm old, what's he?
See, look at Hubs paying it forward right now. Hubs bringing him down
just
to lift
preparation
you up
for the fall.
It ain't a good group if we can't rag on each other, Hubs.
I love it.
You know that's the case. It'll always be that way.
All right. Well, Brent, in the war room this morning, VolQuest on 3 again. VolQuest.com. We talk with Brent every Friday at 7:20. Tennessee on the recruiting trail, Brent. A week removed from having the number 1 running back on campus in Savion Hyder. We've talked a ton about this prospect with you and with Austin. What is the latest? How big of an impression now as the dust has kind of settled a little bit? Do you feel like Tennessee made?
I think a big impression. And again, I think one of the advantages, they had him in twice in a month's period of time. And, you know, these guys are taking so many unofficial visits plus an official visit now. It's no longer about getting the tour. It's about spending time on the board, some X's and O's. It's about getting to know teammates or potential teammates. It's further developing the relationship. So when he got to Knoxville for his official visit, he didn't have to go do the uniform photo shoot if he didn't want to. He didn't have to go see anything else on campus. He could just spend time looking at the things he wanted to look at Tennessee. And he spent a lot of time with, potential teammates, other people in the class, but people that he's known through the recruiting circles the last year or so. So I think they made a really big impression with him. I think distance from home is a bit of a factor ultimately because he and his mom are really close. I think it still is Tennessee, Michigan. And I think his family and his mom are very hands-on involved in everything. I don't think this is going to be some third-party agent deal who's necessarily, deciding where he goes to school. I think they'll have some representation, help him through everything, obviously. But I do think this is very much a family decision, and I think Tennessee has done as well as they can do with him at this point. Is that enough? We'll find out. But I don't think they could have put another best foot forward, if you will. I do think they did as well as they could.
Brent, commitment day for Edward Baker, interior offensive lineman. He was in Oxford last weekend, someone who's been talking a lot with Tennessee as well. Not someone who is as highly ranked as maybe a Darius Gray on paper in terms of the star ranking and the ranking, but in terms of maybe a longer-term project, Brent, what does Tennessee like about Baker, and what are you guys hearing going into his announcement today?
I think Tennessee's in a good spot there. I do. I like where Tennessee's kind of been positioned since that official visit. I think he's a guy who will need a little bit more development, but I think they like the size that he brings to the table. I think they liked his personality on the visit a great deal. I think they like his mindset and kind of the way he plays. Got a little bit of an edge about him, a little nasty disposition, which you like, particularly on the inside of the offensive line. So I think that if Tennessee could land him today, I think that's a quality pickup. And, again, I like where Tennessee has positioned themselves at this point.
Seems like the Vols are taking the approach, man, of really pouring into some interior offensive line. I don't think I've seen a huge concentration of that particular position in a while. You bring up another guy also in your war room with Brandon Anderson also, and of course with Darius Gray being another one of those guys, man. Hyper focus on that, Hubs, over the next few years, it seems like, on development.
Well, I think that's a position that you're going to have some development at, and you're going to want, you're going to have to recruit to that position with the thought of maybe, they help in year 2 or something to that effect. Because here's the thing, Ramon. I mean, tackles are just going to cost money. Okay, I mean it's that way in the National Football League. It's that way in college football. You're going to have your investment into your tackles are going to be pretty significant, and so I think it's going to be harder to develop the tackle position because one, there's a greater need around college football for them with the transfer portal. So guys are always, flight risk, if you will. And two, if it's a really good guy, it's going to end up, you're going to have to financially take care of them. And so I think you're going to see teams carry smaller numbers of true tackles. They're going to carry more interior guys, but maybe interior guys who can bounce out. That's why Tennessee loves a guy like Jesse Perry. Because Jesse Perry could play center in a pinch. He could play guard, or he could be your right tackle. And much like we're seeing in baseball with their limited roster size, they're looking for guys who can play multiple positions. I think in the offensive line, you want guys who can play multiple spots. And true tackles are true tackles. There's not many tackles sliding inside playing guard. But if you can find a guard who's athletic enough to slide out to play right tackle, then you've created some depth for yourself. And that's what you're always looking to try to do.
Hubs, there is nothing better than a college football program weight room. I saw Jesse Perry this past weekend. Dude is big, okay? I just want to throw that out there. I don't know what he was when he came in, but that guy got some doggone size on him, Hubs.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, what you can't develop when you get to college, you can't make them taller because we don't have the Barney 5 stretch machines. You can look that one up for a moment later. That'll be one of your homework assignments.
I know that one. I know that
one. Two, you can make guys a bit faster, but nobody's going to go from a pretty fast guy to an elite fast guy, right? There's limitations in how much faster guys can get. There's not a limitation on how much bigger somebody can get. Yeah. And you look at David Sanders, right? David Sanders comes in 270 pounds in January. He's 305 right now. Okay? I mean, that's 35 pounds they put on a guy. You look at Deshaun Brain. He's put on almost 30 pounds as the tight end who came in January. You get these guys in the nutrition program. You get them in the weight room and the strength program. And you could add some size. And Jesse Perry's another one. You're exactly right. Coming out of that offense he played in there in the mid-state, figured all the offense out, but also adding the weight. I mean, Jesse joked back in the spring when he goes home, some people don't recognize him because it's like, wait a minute, what happened to you? Because he's put on 30-plus pounds since he's been at the University of Tennessee. Needed weight, but it's weight that's put him in a position to be able to help Tennessee this fall on the field.
He looks good. I just want to say that before going back to hey, he looks good, Hubs.
Brent, talking about Deshaun Bishop, and you guys writing about that in the war room, coming in at 215 now, and the guy that came to campus at 180. Have we discounted maybe the role Deshaun Bishop can still play on this offense? Because with all the talk about Star Thomas coming in and Peyton Lewis, who's got the speed and maybe is the flashier player overall that Tennessee fans maybe hope is the next Dylan Sampson type, where is Deshaun Bishop at in all of this, and how big of a role do you see him playing right now?
He's running back 1 or running back 1A with Peyton Lewis. I mean, here's the thing about Deshaun Bishop. 1, Deshaun Bishop's tough as nails.
Mm-hmm.
2, he's competitive, and he's never lost the chip on his shoulder. And I think, Ramon, you know this. You played this way. I mean, you were always out to prove. You know, you had to work to get there, and when you got there, somebody was the next guy coming in was always going to take your spot, right? I mean, that was just – and Deshaun knows that, you know, they're just continue to recruit high-profile players and, quote, recruit over him. And Deshaun's just not going away. I mean, every time, you know, he's kind of one of those guys that he's okay in drills and some of the one-on-one stuff, but the more people you put on the field, the more productive he becomes. And I think, I do think a lot of people are discounting him. Is he Dylan Sampson? No, absolutely not.
Right.
Is he Jalen Wright? Right? No, he's not, because he doesn't have the home run breakaway speed. But can he be a really productive player for Josh Heupel in this offense? Absolutely. He always falls forward. His pass protection's gotten so much better. They trust him in critical situations. I mean, he was on the field backed up against Oklahoma last year, coming off the goal line, and they were comfortable with him being there because Dylan Sampson had blown a pass protection in the previous drive. And so I do think that Darrell Sims has a ton of confidence in him. I think Deshaun has a ton of confidence in himself and physically looks really good right now. He is in a really good spot and is highly, highly motivated because he knows, you know, what they've done around him, and he likes those guys. He's not against them, but they're just not going to take his spot. I mean, he ain't conceding anything to anybody. And I think the question at running back is how deep of a rotation are they really going to go? Because last year it was kind of Dylan Sampson and they spot dutied some guys. You know, the year before with Jerry Mack, there was a very clear-cut two-man kind of rotation deal. He would sprinkle in a third. Are they going to rotate 2 guys or 3 guys at running back? Is it going to be Bishop and Peyton Lewis? You know, if so, then where does Star Thomas factor in? How do they manage all 3 of those guys? And then DeJuan Morris is sitting there with the breakaway home run speed. I mean, somebody probably not going to be happy in that room when we get to week 3 with the number of carries they're getting. But I'm going to bet Deshaun Bishop is in the heavy rotation at running back.
On the other side, too, back to recruiting, man, how are the Vols going to be able to balance up what some teams are saying to Joel Wide and what they want for him also? I see Coach Chop as his primary recruiter on this one, too. High 4-star guy, man, they project as an edge, but others want him at other positions. Have you spoken to him, and what do you think the ultimate plan would be for him to get to UT also?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's at Leo, to be honest with you. I mean, I think where Joel is at right now, he was at the Rivals 5-Star Camp Challenge and worked out at safety, and I think did well there. I just don't think he doesn't see himself moving that close to the line of scrimmage, and he wants an opportunity to play, I think, more in space in the back end, would like to play a safety spot. So, we'll see what happens with that one. I think that one's going to be interesting because, the more he does camp things and the more things he does, the more confident it feels like he is in being able to play away from the ball and playing off the ball a little bit more in space, which is where ultimately right now he really wants to play. So that one's going to be interesting, Ramon. We'll see what happens there with that over the course of the next few weeks.
So he wants to be a Kyle Hamilton type from Baltimore is what it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to play, what's his body going to do ultimately, I think, is the question. When you get in the weight room and you get into nutrition stuff, I mean, where's he physically going to be? I mean, is he going to be 240 pounds? I mean, you don't see a lot of college safeties at 240 pounds running around out there. So I think the question people are projecting kind of what his body's going to do, and where he's at right now. He's not seeing the projection. He's seeing himself being a productive guy playing in the secondary, and that's what he's seeing right now. And maybe he stays there. Maybe body-wise he can stay there, that's where he plays, or maybe he outgrows that spot. I don't know. And I'm not comparing him to Javon Curse, but Javon Curse thought he was going to be a safety for his entire football career. We saw how that worked out. Yeah. He arrived at Florida as a safety, and then he put on 30 pounds. Yeah. So what is his – I don't know what Joel's body's going to do. I mean, I'm not – right. I don't measure bone density and all those types of things that they measure these days. So I don't know if he's a guy that – some guys you project to play those positions and you look up and they fight for 5 pounds. Some guys, they look up and they put on 30 pounds without any difficulty. So I don't know, I don't get paid nearly enough money to make those kind of projections. But I think that's the interesting debate with Joel White right now. The thing about Joel White is he can play. Yeah. Okay. He can play football. He is a good football player. Whatever position he ultimately ends up playing, he's going to be a really productive player because the guy understands and knows how to play football. He's just one of those dudes. He's a football player, not an athlete. He's a football player.
Oh, Brent, we mentioned it off the top, but maybe not the Coliseum in Greece, like Ramon said. But when I ask about the favorite environments you've been able to see in the time you spent around Tennessee football, are there one or two that come to mind of the favorite places you've been outside of Knoxville seeing Tennessee play?
There's a lot more disappointments than there are exciting places.
Really?
That we've been to. Yeah. The Rose Bowl was a big bleh for me.
Interesting.
Pretty sunset. Okay. Yard sale around the stadium. Okay. All right.
I agree with that.
Oregon was an interesting place. The fascinating thing about this conference is the difference in some of these places day versus night.
Yeah, right.
They're two different places. Baton Rouge daytime is like going to Sunday school class. Baton Rouge at night is like going to the gates of hell to play, what it feels like. I mean, I've been in Baton Rouge and seen them rocking buses and throwing rocks at windows. And then I've been at Baton Rouge at 7 a.m. when, none of them were out of bed.
3 years ago.
Yeah. They weren't even close to being in the stadium, and they were down 2 touchdowns in that game. Auburn's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating about Auburn. Auburn at night is very different than Auburn in the daytime. So I don't know. I mean, there's some quaint little places, and then there's some places where you're like, yeah, okay, great, fine, whatever. I don't know. There's some places I want to go see that I would like for Tennessee to play some games at. I was hoping to get to go to Nebraska. I'm really looking forward to this Washington trip to see what that's like out there, because I think that's pretty unique. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anything jumps out at me I just really want to go back to that place. I wish they would play more true road games in non-SEC stadiums as opposed to all the neutral site stuff that we play now, because there are some places that I would like to see, just to say, hey, that's a great environment. Sure. That's a great atmosphere. I mean, LSU at night's as good as it gets, for sure. Georgia's as mean as it gets. I mean, it's pretty rowdy. They're pretty wound up with whoever comes to town when Georgia's in town. So that's a pretty serious atmosphere there.
My top 5 real quick: Florida, LSU, South Carolina, Notre Dame, and then Neyland's number 1.
I will say this about Notre Dame. I went into Notre Dame and was like, okay, it's Notre Dame, right? Whatever. And the first time I went up there and did everything on that Saturday before, we got everything set up early. And I went to every place that was in the movie Rudy. I just wanted to go see as much stuff like that. Those are the nicest people.
Yes.
And that is a really cool It is a really cool place to go at least one time.
For sure.
I'm so thankful I got to see that one time. I don't know if it's on my bucket list to go back multiple times, but to go see everything that you've seen on TV or in a movie or whatever, it's exactly like it's portrayed. I mean, it was a really cool place. I will put that one up in my top 5.
I like
sure.
it.
Yep.
VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us Friday mornings here on the show. Great stuff as always, Brent. Appreciate you making time for us.
Thanks, Hubbs.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ramon, I'm going to go see if we can find something near the Ark, or I don't know where. I mean, one of these places I covered years ago.
There's one in
You're going to
Kentucky.
pay for that one. You're going to pay for that one, Ramon.
The Ark is in Kentucky. You can go see that one. So you're close.
The Leaning Tower of London, right? Yeah.
You're gonna pay for that one at some point, Ramon. Okay?
Don't tell me. You tell me Death Valley, I might end up in South Carolina. Okay.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate you, sir.
See you guys.
All right. Brent Hubbs, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. Yes, if you missed it, we know the Coliseum is Ramon. Is in Rome, not Ramon. Ramon misspoke yesterday saying it was Greece, so that's been our running joke of the morning. Coming up, NBA draft. A lot of headlines to catch up on. Guys who don't want to play where they were drafted, and a Tennessee player that got drafted.